Welcome back to our rigging and Helsinki episode. We'll begin with the rigging, the rod rigging, because that's the priority. I'll explain a little bit about sailboat rigging and what we needed to do to stay safe. So last episode we showed you this picture of a cracked turnbuckle with the red lines sort of following the cracks. You can see them next to the lines. So why is this important? Well, because this is what holds our mast up. This is a picture of a boat with our style of rigging, cutter rigging. All of these metal lines, 1 through 6, at least those ones, hold up the mast. First, the longest, side shrouds, which go from the top of the mast all the way down to the deck. Those ones are called the cap shrouds. They are in both the starboard and the port, or the left and the right sides of the mast. And second, we have the D1 shrouds, also on port and starboard, left and right, stabilizing the mast, preventing it from buckling and also connecting to the deck, very near to where the cap shrouds connect down to the deck. Here on the Brees, I'm showing them in yellow and red. You can imagine that they need to be strong. That mast is 19 meters, or 60 feet high from the waterline. Picture a 6-story building. And when the huge sails are full of wind, there can be thousands of pounds of load on the mast, and on those shrouds, and on those turnbuckles. Several thousand pounds of load. They connect to the boat's chain plates and are adjusted with those threaded turnbuckles. Here you can see the cap shroud in the foreground and the D1 shroud in the background. If any of these parts break, this can be the result. A broken mast. These poor fellows seem to have had their D1 still intact, but they broke the mast near its midpoint, likely due to either failed cap shrouds on either side, or on the stays fore and aft. Our mast is about 500 kilograms, about 1,100 pounds, so this is clearly a huge safety risk. If that thing falls down, it could be really dangerous. So we need to replace those cracked turnbuckles. Close inspection shows later that 3 of our 4 are cracked to some degree, some little bigger. We get on the internet and we visit the local chandlers looking for parts. The chandler doesn't have parts large enough for our size of boat. They have lots of turnbuckles, but not this big. But he directs us to a nearby back alley where we find Vene Oibremer and Elmar. Elmar the rigger. He did have a suitable replacement from BSI. Our original Navtec brand parts are no longer manufactured by the original company. You can still get them, but they're over $700 US each. So Elmar's suggestion of going to BSI parts was a good one. It's a 5/8 inch fine thread pitch, so they are adaptable for what we need, and they're certainly strong enough. Unfortunately, he only has 1. We need 4. Well, we've got 3 cracked. We might as well replace all 4. So he gets on the phone and he starts searching, and within a couple of days, he gets back to us and he says he's found 1 more in Finland for a total of 2. So we bought both of the ones that Elmar had, and we're still searching for the final 2. We take the contact information for BSI from Elmar. They are in Denmark, and that's where the manufacturing company is. And they find they have more in stock, and they're willing to ship them to us. Now we've got to figure out where we want them shipped. Are we still going to stay in Helsinki, or are we going to move on? We decide to move on. So we spent about 10 days here in Helsinki, and we really enjoyed this place. And we ordered the final 2 parts to be shipped to Tallinn in Estonia. It's about 40 miles across the Gulf of Finland, and we'll meet the parts when they arrive there. Now, of all the places we visited this year, we certainly enjoyed Helsinki. It's a very beautiful city, starting with lovely facilities and people in the middle of the harbor on this island that is owned by the NJK Yacht Club. It's a tiny marina with a busy adult sailing school and a very convenient restaurant.
So here we are in Helsinki, Finland. It is July 23rd, and we are moored at the yacht club here, the National Yacht Club. It's a beautiful place, very accommodating, very helpful, and it has a little ferry that runs over to the mainland. We'll be going over there shortly after some lunch and enjoying our beautiful day.
The ferry runs from the island over to the mainland about every 30 minutes, so getting into the city is so convenient. It's right downtown. I sped up this video, but in real time, that whole ferry ride took about 2 minutes, a little bit less.
Beyond the sea, he's there watching for me. If I could fly like birds on high, then straight to his arms I'd go sailing. It's far.
The people of Helsinki are outside. So many people outside on summer days and summer evenings. From the city markets to the parks, and music. It was everywhere, every day. They had free concerts down by the main harbor. They had free concerts out by the Oodi library. Free concerts everywhere. It's amazing.
It's terrifying. Friday night, Helsinki. Beautiful day. Everybody's out. Not at the bars, but enjoying their time just on the lawns of the park. This is Esplanade Park.
Italy has the piazzas. Germany has the market. Helsinki has the parks.
Lots of different dahlias, lots of different mum thingies. It smells good too.
Actually, while we sat on the boat one night, we listened to a Flogging Molly concert, for those of you who know Flogging Molly, across the harbor at a band shell. We walked to the marina behind the city market to see preparations for the Baltic Sea Race. There are some serious boats here. A Volvo Ocean 70 from the US, a brand new, on its maiden voyage, Swan 88, down to a little Beneteau First 36-7. 39 boats in total for this race. They are racing over 600 miles from Helsinki to the island of Gotland in Sweden and back. The winner, that Volvo 70, covered this distance in 2 days and 5 hours, taking line honors and the overall win, but only by 4 hours with the corrected times. That little Beneteau First 36 got third place. Way to go, guys. We got to watch their return, well, the return of the Volvo 70, as they came back into Helsinki here on July 29th. These racers are pros, and while we were there, we asked for some help in finding parts to fix our rigging. They were great. The organizers lined us up with some of the race teams and their riggers, and they started making phone calls for us, again, looking for those parts. After a day, we'd exhausted all of the supplies in Finland. Thanks, Petri Groland from Top Marine. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing Petri's name correctly. And the rest of the staff at the race for the support. And congratulations on a great race. Looks like it was a blast. Here we are in Helsinki. There's a lot of sailboats here. There's a big race going on. But this guy's been here for a few days. Global Solo Challenge. He had a bad day. You can see up here. See the bowsprit sticking out with the lines on it, but right above that you can see the ragged-assed edge of a carbon fiber mast that's broken. His mast is laying on his deck. He stuck a pole in to get himself here ashore, but that's not a mast. I don't know if it's a reaching strut or what it is, but there's busted bits of mast and spreaders and a boom. That's a bad day. Sorry, Ferry. Hope the rest of your day goes better. While we were waiting for our second part to arrive, like I say, we picked one up from Elmer the rigger the first day. Waiting on the second one, we enjoyed our surroundings. And of course, in Helsinki, the Oodi is a must-see. The architecture and the inventory make a huge statement. Organic flowing lines, a ceiling that looks like the underside of a wave, and the floors that rise up in the distance, along with the beautiful views, set the stage. The library might just be the best place for a double helix staircase. Not needed, extravagant, but it certainly supports gaining knowledge. Double helix, like our DNA. It's in the DNA of this building. Inside you have so many options, not just books, but activities and opportunities. You can 3D print, robotically cut and create, sew, make music, make recordings. There's so much here. Perhaps most significantly, there are so many people here. Think of your local library. When's the last time you were there? And have you ever seen it this busy? This city has really made something relevant. A relevant library. Congratulations. We also took an afternoon to visit Suomenlinna, the Swedish fort. It's very interesting that they chose to use cannons captured in previous wars to build a fence around the church. Much symbolism there. Open to interpretation, I guess both positive and negative. Cannons around a church. Good morning, geese. Barnacle geese. Where did you get your name? You've been eating barnacles? Excuse me, personal space? Perhaps I'm in your space?
Under Russian rule, the shipyard was quite neglected, and during the Crimean War in 1855, it was damaged by the joint French-English Navy during the bombing of Suomenlinna. When Finland became independent, the shipyard's engine room was transformed into an airplane factory, building airplanes for the Finnish Air Force. In the 1930s, this was the base for the Finnish submarines and a shipyard, which serviced the large armored vessels of the Finnish Navy.
Getting around town, we mostly take city buses and trams, but there are so many choices. We visited a little art gallery. On our way to Suomenlinna, we saw a few of the biggest icebreakers in the world. They're part of this Arctic nation.
The big breakers can break through ice as thick as 5 meters.
Ah, the highlights of Helsinki. First, the helpers. Elmar, Petri, and the staff at NJK. We're so grateful for all of your help. The beautiful city, its amazing architecture, museums and parks. And thanks, Suvi, for teaching us a little bit about your city. And of course, the Oodi. I can't imagine a better library. It is vibrant. And the history. Finnish, Swedish, Russian, Finnish again. So much to see and learn. Of course, the music. It was everywhere. The sailing culture. Racing, cruising, even day sailing. They love the water here.
The quay at the seafront is called Halkolai.
And finally, a regret. We have a few. One here for sure. We've been able to visit so many places. So far, just this year, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Åland, and Finland. I'll call that 5 countries, given Åland credit. And we really wanted to see St. Petersburg in Russia. A Venice of the North, we were told, with the Hermitage, one of the world's great art museums. But unfortunately, the small man in the Kremlin makes it unsafe this year. We regret not going there. It's only 100 miles from here. We're so close. But maybe in the future we'll finally get there. But for now, that 100 miles may as well be 1,000,000 miles. And now we've replaced 2 of our 3 cracked turnbuckles. We put them on the highest load area, the cap shrouds, and we've reinforced the remaining D1 shroud with a crack with some dynamo line. So we're ready to go. We'll sail a short 40 miles to Estonia in calm weather, under 20 knots of wind, or so we had planned, but more on that next time. Water spouts, think water spouts. So we'll see you soon. Erin and Marie, Beyond the Sea. Sailing into Estonia. There's Marie asking me if I'm watching.